there is a very good chance that the area that I'm talking about that precedes Ein Sof is actually the Shekinah. When we talk about female jouissance and the space before space and the time before time, it's this eternal female into herself. And how do I derive this rather than just imagination? Is that let's examine the word Shekinah itself. Shekinah means divine presence, but its gematria is 385, is normative gematria, and that's Osea. And that's the physical world, the Osea world, the physical world. And for me, later on this will be shown that the gematria of Mikael, fully spelt out, is 385. And that comes up here. Mikael comes up almost as a carrier, an angel dispensed from this area of Shekinah. And Mikael, being this energy, also let's remember that the din, because I'm going to get into din right now, of the name Moses, Moshe, Mem, Shin, Hey, is 101. And this 101 number, as Adam Kadmon, Aleph Kuf, and 101 itself, as certain numbers of shofar, may even be this level. And as you know, that's my number, 101, which is Mikael in its regular gematria. This may be a representative of this female jouissance and the essence, the atzmut beyond Ein Sof, and the original face and energy, which I'm going to show in a second. And how do I derive this? I wrote out the Shekinah in full, which gives 385. That's Shin. So I'm going to do just the din of it. That means the remaining letters of after the first Kedusha letter. And Shin has a 60 din, Kaf an 80 din, Yud a 10 din, Nun Yud a 10 din, Nun a 56 din, and Hey a 1 din. And that comes out to be 207. 207 is Ein Sof. It's also the word Zir, like Nazir, it means crown. And 207 is, well, it's Ein Sof. It's also how you write the letter Kuf, with a Resh and a Zion. See? Zion coming down. And that's 207. And this is a very deep issue because that represents what goes down below. So this Kuf from the word Kayan. But this 207 din, the dinam of Shekinah, means Ein Sof. So there's a level, remember we were talking about the level in Ein Sof of the Shekinah. It's the feminine jouissance, which is related to this Ein Sof as previous to Ein Sof. It's din of Ein Sof. It's not even Ein Sof, it's the din of Ein Sof. And from this dinam, from this botzina de kartanuta, so to speak, or the root of it, comes everything. Because once you get the dinam, you see, then you have both sides. The Kedusha is easy to rectify and to understand. But how does one understand the dinam, the apparent dinam anyway? Like coronavirus. Like, well, anything. You see? How does one understand this in the totality? And from a really deep issue, the coronavirus and all these plagues and tortures and wars come from a level of understanding which is deeper than the obvious light. You see? So this feminine comes previous to the masculine. This dinim. One of the beauties here is that this Shekinah never leaves the temple ground, never leaves the Beis HaMikdash. And surprisingly enough, the gematria of Beis HaMikdash is 449 for Mikdash and 412 for Beis. It comes out to be 861, which is a appellation, if that's the word, of Ein Sof. Aleph, Samech, quotation marks, final pay. 861, Ein Sof. Again, this Kedusha never leaves the area of the Temple Mount. Because love never leaves. You see, this highest aspect, remember that Kabbalah is love. Love never leaves. You can get a get, you can get anything you like, but the contact, and this is what I'm going to show, never leaves. The union never leaves. The marriage never leaves. You can get divorced in the physical world, in the Osea world down here, but the contact never leaves, and that's what happens at the Beis HaMikdash. That's what happens in Yerushalayim in general, and the union never leaves. Strangely enough, Kedusha, fully spelt out, Kuf Daled Vav Shin Hey, spelt out in full gematria. If we spelt the Vav with a Vav Aleph Vav, comes out to be 999. Even if you spell it 998, you add one, it's 999. That's El Shaddai. But with the Vav, it without the Vav, well, with the Vav, it's 999 itself plus 1. That's Aleph, which is Hashem. So the Kedusha, as feminine jouissance, never leaves. Never leaves. And how do we know this? It says it was brought down into the space of the original temple by Yitzhak, by the way, but the binding of Yitzhak by Avraham. And that, something I heard last night, was that this Shekinah didn't come down at the Ten Commandments. It came down at the binding of Yitzhak. And at the binding of Yitzhak, that's the place of the temple ground. And that never left. That love never left. And strangely enough, that's where the Ayil substituted in my brother as the Ayil. And last night in a vision, I talked with my brother at this location. Maybe, because it's in my bedroom that I talked to him. Standing up, it's the Ayil, and it's the binding of Yitzhak. Yitzhak, by the way, has a gematria of 208, which is 207 plus 1. Ein Sof plus 1. 208, Yitzhak. So, this energy, and who was the angel at the binding of Yitzhak? For me, by the way, was Michael. So this there are ways to get shofar out of, Shekinah. Fully spelt out comes out to be 592. One could minus 5 letters plus minus 1, 6. It could come out to 586. And that would be shofar, the shofar of the Ayil. But in general, what we have here is that what I'm trying to say is that the Shekinah, as feminine jouissance, the Shekinah is this premier energy, primal energy. That primal energy is a female manifestation of Ein Sof, and it never leaves. You're saying it never leaves, and that's what's in the whole idea of Eretz Yisrael, which is an Oseo world manifestation. And especially at the temple ground where it's obvious that it never leaves. Because that's the heart. And this heart palms. See those spots in the middle of the palms? Those are the energy spots. You know, the hand of Fatima, the Hamsa. The real secret is not the 5 fingers, but the center eye, or what the center is. And this energy, this is the way I do it. I'm going to stand up for this. This is how I've discovered this energy. It's almost hugging like a tree. And then flipping. And the energy comes out of the palm. And this is the primal energy that comes from before Ein Sof. This is a primal energy, comes out of the palms of the hands. So when you're doing things, there are 5 fingers, but there's also the energy that comes out of the palms. See? And for me, this is my designation of it. The energy coming out of the palms. And I'll explicate, or somebody else can explicate. And this is some very deep secrets here, which I feel is the primal energy of Ein Sof. You know, the pre-Ein Sof. And that's the oceanic feeling. You see? And one swims in the ocean of love. Dive in deep. The ultimate, water torture is diving in deep in the ocean of love, drowning in the ocean of love. Remember that there's a square. This is the closest to a square. That precedes the circle. And that there's a circle within the square. And inside of that is an Aleph. And that Aleph could very well be the concept of Kedusha. You see. This all comes out of the din of Shekinah and the Shekinah principle in general. And that's why I've said this, because this is the whole idea of the feminine principle.